This is the third reading of Letters to Dennis, A Dedication of Love by Bob Tussler. This is February 7th. Dear Dennis, cancer, cancer, cancer. That's all our life has become. I wish you would stop nagging me about wearing my seatbelt. I don't know why, but I feel so closed in. Do you know how I'd feel if you went through the windshield? At this point, Dennis, I don't care. Fine, I'm not moving this car until you put that seatbelt on. Waiting at a stop sign no more than 5 minutes from the hospital, I feel your arm go across my chest, just like my mom used to do when we were little to protect us from going through the windshield. And then, wham! A van behind us loses its brakes and rams into the back of our car. The driver of the van gets out and says, "Are you all right?" "No, I'm not all right, you stupid asshole. You just wrecked the entire back end of my car and possibly gave us whiplash." As I was attempting to cross the street to call the hospital to inform them I would be late for radiation while you handled the accident scene, you pulled me back in time to avoid walking into oncoming traffic. Where's my mind these days? First support group meeting tonight. Thanks for going with me, Den. I often review and remember that I could have died at any time with this tumor. Before the surgery, on the table, or the surgery could have resulted in side effects such as paralysis, blindness, or even becoming aphasic. But I came through it all relatively unscathed except for a bitch of a haircut and an 8-inch scar across the top of my head. Right now, the only major side effect I have is depression and self-pity. I know I'm going through this for a reason, but I can't still imagine what it is. Perhaps to deliver a message to someone or to alter somebody's life in a way I could not understand. Who knows, maybe one day it'll all become more clear. About 5 minutes before the group started, everybody arrived. There was Kathy, who appeared refreshingly quite normal, John, who walked with a cane, dragging the right side of his body with him. He already had 3 surgeries and apparently the last 2 weren't very successful. Dave, who had surgery 17 years ago with many residual side effects, and Liz, leader of the pack. All that happened was we went around the circle sharing our stories. February 8th. Dear Dennis, not even attempting to go to work today. 10:30 a.m. is my first appointment with chemotherapist oncologist. Chemotherapy really scares me. All the stories I hear and things I see haunt my mind. Is this what will happen to me? Nausea, vomiting, hair loss, so I look like some bald honeydew? I don't want to do this. 10 a.m. Marge is here to go with me and you. No turning back now. We're off. Thank God Marge can help like this. It's great to have a best friend as a nurse. At the office, I'm so frightened and preoccupied that I can barely fill out the necessary paperwork. There I sit, me and my support group of you and Marge. You guys know I'm nervous as hell, and I appreciate your attempts at distracting me with a variety of conversation and jokes. I hear your words. I know you're talking because I can see your lips moving, but I'm not processing a word you're saying. I can't even tell you where I'm sitting or how I got to the office. With that, the door opens and in comes Dr. Preppy, aka Dr. Brian. Tell me, good doctor, how did you get the BMW up the elevator to the 3rd floor? This guy is like 35 years old, nicely coiffed, strawberry blonde hair, dressed in faded jeans, pressed, of course, long-sleeve polo shirt, and smelling like a scratch and sniff sample of cool water from GQ. Seriously, this is the man who's going to put the cancer out of my head? However, 2 words out of his mouth and you feel his wisdom, his confidence, and you feel secure. He really knows his business. Unfortunately, the first thing he decided to discuss was prognosis. Bad move. Tell me statistics. Statistics demonstrate I only have 14 months to live. If that wasn't bad enough, The second presentation was a little dissertation on Decadron as a steroid and what it can do to my body using it for a long time. First he tells me statistics view me as a corpse in 14 months, and then he tells me I'll get fat deposits on my body in places I could never imagine. Arms, neck, back, and shoulders. Great! Why not just put me in a bell tower and tell me to live out my remaining time? Perhaps a town maiden will take pity on my tormented soul and toss me an occasional crust of bread. Dr. Bryan, quite perceptive, my tears could be the giveaway, hit me with a 2x4, realizes how upsetting this is, and fortunately decides to let me experience the moment. Good news! This chemotherapy program Dr. Bryan is suggesting includes one drug, hydroxyurea, which is supposed to make the cancer cells increasingly receptive to the radiation. A radiosensitizing agent. Okay, attention all cancer cells, it's simply a reality that Bob is getting rid of you. Do you want to make this quick and painless by absorbing the hydroxyurea, or do we really have to mess you up? The actual chemotherapy program will be a combination of 3 drugs, 2 orally and 1 intravenously. No actual start date established yet. First I must complete radiation. Dr. Bryan projects little if any nausea or vomiting with this combination. And as far as hair loss is concerned, the drug should only slow the rate of hair growth that is lost during my radiation. Alright, don't ask if you don't want to know. Tell me, Dr. B, with the program you have designed, what are the chances of reoccurrence? Taking into consideration that as much of the tumor was resected as possible without damaging surrounding tissue, and you receive full radiation treatment, and the chemotherapy projected possibility of reoccurrence are 30-70. What do these percentages come from anyway? The life expectancy is a statistical norm collected from many people who had a diagnosis of glioblastoma multiforme. Most of those receiving the diagnosis range in age from 60 to 70s. Oftentimes in that population exist concurrent medical conditions such as heart condition and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or diabetes, which can be contributing factor to the cause of death. Dr. Bryan explained, because those statistics had a diagnosis of malignant brain tumor, the death is recorded as a result of brain tumor. Statistics are just that. Each person is an individual, and I refuse to be cornered into a corral with a bunch of statistics that are not me. Okay, Jake, mosey your tail on over yonder and tell me all them glioblastoma multiformes over here for Brandon. I'll get the 14-month life expectancy iron hot. There are too many other factors to consider. Thank you. My age, my physical condition, my general nutrition, my attitude, my stuff. Not someone else's situation. Only things that are mine. I'll do this, I know I can. It's tough though. Treatments, nutritional supplements, keeping a positive attitude. It's a full-time job with no retirement party projected soon. What happened to my other life? Perhaps that's why I'm so sad all the time. I lost me when I found cancer. Now what can I do to make me new again? Dear Dennis, February 9th. I'm feeling a little bit better emotionally during the daytime hours, but my mind continues to wander and depressive thoughts are always there at night. I think about the people from the first support group and how fortunate I am. 4 days into the radiation now. The skin on my forehead has turned brown like from the sun and is starting to peel. The smell from my head is incredible. Seems like a place for a Glade stick-up. If I could just wash my head. The treatment is damaging the outer dermis, making it extremely sensitive. Washing my head will only take off another layer of skin, subsequently increasing the risk of making the surface that much more sensitive and susceptible to damage. This is only the 4th day. I can't imagine what it will be like after 6 weeks. Remember, I'm the person who used to shower 3 times a day. I used to enjoy getting the mail just to see who it was. Just to see what it was. Now each time I open the box, the only thing I find is either another bill or an explanation of benefits from the insurance. Yet I can't conceive what the situation would be like if I had none at all, especially with that $30,000 hospital bill. That price doesn't even include the doctor's bill from the craniotomy, $6,000. All the bills, those many interpretives from various tests, and my other miscellaneous bullshit that is just added on and lost in the volumes of statements. Guess when my hair grows back, I'll have to take that waitress job at the local truck stop. I hate the thought of that hash-slinging cook leering at me and all those truckers wondering, is he or isn't he? Then after a long day of delivering the breakfast special of the day, 2 eggs, 2 meats, bacon, sausage, or ham, 2 pieces of toast, white or wheat, for $2.99, I get to go home covered with the stench of grease that never goes away and dump my $36.05 in tips on the nightstand. What piece of shit only left me a nickel? And have the satisfaction of knowing that even though I have cancer, I'm independent and can do what must be done. I know I shouldn't be concerned about money matters, especially now, but unfortunately the bills have to be paid. $139 for the phone, $136 electric, $400 for my car, $112 for your car, $300 of crappy insurance premium for me, $282 of crappy insurance premium for you, $600 house payment, food, and all the charge card bills with other unusual ones such as the expensive vitamins and other drugs that the insurance does not pay. And me now, working only 3 days a week. Oh well, I guess what happens, happens. I know I shouldn't be concerned with money. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. Give me a jar of freckled cream and put me on a cable car. Yes, Doris Day, this is your moment. I enjoyed the hot bath tonight. Thanks for doing that. Having you sit on the toilet, of course with the lid down, close by, talking to me, giving me reassurance and hope, made the moment complete. I know it's difficult for you because you have all the stuff to process and cope with yourself, but that you have to put on second to help me first. You're the best thing that ever happened to me, Dennis. I love you. I know during our discussions, a lot of what you say seems like nothing more than repeating what I've already heard 300 times before, but the more I hear it, especially from you, the better I feel. Perhaps you are my guardian angel. You're ever present and watching over me. I know that our meeting and going through life will not just be coincidence or good luck. It was meant to be. February 10th. Dear Dennis, early mornings seem to be a particularly bad time with regard to mood and coping. I wake up preoccupied and really depressed, which makes me want to do nothing but stay in bed, pull the blankets over my head, and die. Unfortunately, death is not an option today. I have to go to work. I'm not comfortable anymore in social settings. Let's get to work. You look great. You're doing good. If anyone can beat this, it's you. Maybe I will be okay. Maybe one day I'll just get on with my life and say, I survived cancer. My hope is just that for both me and you. Radiation treatment was basically unremarkable, except for the technician's attempt at humor. Table for one, no waiting, no smoking. Decided to go out to the dance bar tonight against my better judgment. I told you I feel uncomfortable in social settings. I just don't feel attractive anymore. I'm still bitter. I look at people who are healthy and laughing. How unfair. That scenario used to be me. I wonder will it ever be again. The bar was a bust with only a few locals. The music was satisfactory at times, and I enjoyed the opportunity to dance. Believe it or not, I had my mind off cancer for a while. I guess it is possible. Who knows what the future holds. Let's grow old together, Den. 80 and 85. That's the end of presentation 3. Next reading will be reading number 4.